Hello, dear students. I hope you are doing well by staying at home. Did you all enjoy the chapter 1 3 questions? Yes? I hope you might would have enjoyed. Today we shall cover a very beautiful poem about nature. The name of the poem is The Nature the Gentlest Mother Is, written by Emily Dickinson. Before we go ahead, let's know something about our poetess Emily Dickinson. She is an American poet. She is very fond of nature, nature lover. Now let me give you the introduction of the poem. The present poem talks about nature. It brings out human elements of motherhood. The poetess has made beautiful use of personification figure of speech. Now, what is personification? It is a figure of speech where non living or inanimate object is given human quality. Here, in this poem, nature has been given the human quality. Here, the poetess has used a view of a person in order to create a better understanding of motherly love towards her children. The poetess makes the comparison in this poem between nature and humans. It's fact that nature is unbiased and loving, but we humans are cruel, selfish, and destructive. The poem talks about nature as an ideal mother and questions human behavior. Before we go ahead with the poem, let's see the warm up exercise. There are two pictures of nature. Write 5 adjectives for each picture. Which picture do you like more? Why? So we have here the one picture of greenery and the other one is of volcanic eruption. So my dear students, you have to use the 5 adjectives for these different pictures. And which picture do you like and why? You must have to mention this. So my dear students, these both the pictures are, they show the nature. Okay, they are the part of nature. So I hope you will do this exercise. So here we go with the poem line by line. Nature, the gentlest mother is, impatient of no child, the feeblest or the waywardest, her admonition mild. My dear students, the first stanza talks about nature is very calm and patient with her children like our mother. जैसे कि हमारी माँ जो हमें बहुत ही प्यार से समझाती हैं, भले हम कितने भी मस्तीखोर क्यों ना हो, हमारे अंदर बिल्कुल भी पेशेंट ना हो, लेकिन फिर भी माँ तो माँ होती है. फीबल मीन्स वीक, wayward means someone who is difficult to control. So mother nature does not discriminate among her children. Even her admonition, admonition का मीनिंग क्या होता है, आप ग्लोसरी में देख सकते हो, अ फर्म वार्निंग. इवन हर स्कोल्डिंग इज माइल्ड. किसकी? मदर नेचर की. नेचर इज एड्रेस्ड एज केयरिंग मदर who is devoted to her children and loves every single being that belongs to her without any discrimination. Now here, the uses of mother figure for nature is the personification of the motherly character to nature itself. So, my dear students, here we go with the second stanza. In forest and the hill, by traveller be heard, restraining rampart squirrel or too impetuous bird. The second stanza brings out the motherly urge in the nature where she controls her children around humans. Nature is present everywhere in the forest as well as in the hills. The traveller here represents humans in general. Humans are also nature's children, but we humans have a tendency to destroy everything in the nature. Therefore, we see that Mother Nature is hushing down and restraining the naughty squirrel and the erratic bird so that the humans do not harm them. Therefore, the Mother Nature has to ensure that the humans do not do something negatively impact on her children. In the name of invention, exploration, the animals are said to have stopped making noise once the humans approached. The impetus means the word is given here likely to act rashly. So the birds they act in that way. So this is something about the second stanza. How fair her conversation, a summer afternoon, her household, her assembly, and when the sun go down. Now, in the third stanza, the poetess focuses on the nature, where Emily appreciates the working of nature and all her aspects. As we know, nature survives through every season and change. We can see the use of personification. Nature is personified, and words, household and assembly hold strong point. Therefore, like mother's assets of household, nature looks after her assembly of children and household of greenery. Let me take you to the last line of this stanza. And when the sun go down. Did you notice this is an incomplete line? It gives a continuation to the next stanza, shifting the setting to an end of the day as the sun goes down. So this is something about the third stanza. Let's go on the next one. Her voice among the isles, inside the timid prayer of the minutest cricket, the most unworthy flower. The meaning of isles, a long narrow place or a passage. Now my dear students, in this stanza the mother nature appreciates and acknowledges the voices of the smallest of creatures inciting the prayer, regardless of how unworthy the creature might seem. It describes nature's voice flowing between passages. Nature's voice is being described as if praying. She is praying for her children, right from someone as tiny as cricket. What is cricket? It is an insect. Flowers that are wilted or ugly are seen as even more inferior, since this plant is perceived as the most beautiful of all creation. Dickinson stresses on the ugly, unworthy flower in order to express the unconditional love of Mother Nature. So my dear students, I hope you have understood the stanza. Here we go on the next one. When all her children sleep, she turns as long away as will suffice to light her lamps, then bending from the sky. Now my dear students, here in this stanza, the first line described the night when all her children are asleep. Her children means who? It includes all the beings of the world. Now see my dear students, जब हम अपने घर की भी बात करें तो जब हम सो जाते हैं तो मम्मी नहीं सोती, मम्मी को और भी बहुत सारे काम होते हैं, जैसे कि अगले दिन की प्लानिंग करना, कल टिफ़िन में क्या बनाना है, ओके, डोर्स को लॉक करना, मीन्स बहुत सारा काम होता है। वैसे ही जब हम ओके या तो पूरा नेचर जब उसके नेचर के सारे बच्चे सो जाते हैं तो नेचर को और भी बहुत कुछ काम होता है। सो इवन व्हेन हर चिल्ड्रन आर asleep, she has other duties that she needs to take care of. Therefore, we see in the next 3 lines where nature is going a long way in order to light her lamps for the next day. अब nature के 2 light कौन से हैं? The sun and the moon. So the last line, that is bending from the sky, indicates the setting of the sun. Since the sun is setting, she will have to go a long way in order to get the light back for the next day. So this stanza talks about the scene of the day ending and the nature waiting for the next day to start. Now here we go on the last stanza. With infinite affection and infiniter care, her golden finger on her lip will silence everywhere. Now my dear students, in the last stanza of this poem, the poet brings us to the end of the night, where this is a sense of calm before the day begins again, and the cycle continues. With all her affection and boundless care, nature is seen to hush down her children with a finger on her lip and brings silence everywhere. The golden finger indicates the ideal mother who has the golden touch of claiming her children instantly. बच्चों, जैसे हमारी मम्मी में वो बॉन्ड ऑफ लव होता है, आपने शायद कभी देखा होगा कि एक छोटा बच्चा जो बहुत रोता है, जैसे ही माँ उसको अपने गोद में लेती हैं, बच्चा अपने आप रोना बंद कर देता है। वैसे ही यहाँ पर नेचर के लिए कहा गया है। आई होप आपको ये पोएम समझ में आई है। इफ़ यू हैव रियली enjoyed and learned something from this poem, then please hit the like, and for such type of videos please subscribe my channel, press the bell icon and share this poem with your friends. आज के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए जय हिंद।